special guest is Kenji Saykosy, aka the Lao Warrior. Kenji is a business owner, martial artist, and an actor. And I'm telling you guys, when I grow up, I want to be like Kenji because this guy has the looks, has the moves, has the hair, and I'm excited for what we're gonna hear today. Kenji, welcome to Game Changing Dads.
Hello, good morning. I'm honored to be here.
Awesome, and we so appreciate it. So Kenji, in a snapshot, give us an idea who you are, where you were born, and take us all the way up to what you're currently doing today.
Okay. Let's see. 1980, I came to America as a refugee. Because of the Vietnam War, like many Lao immigrants, we had to, leave Laos because of the war. So 1978, my village, we fled across the Mekong River to make it into Thailand. And we stayed in refugee camp for almost 2 years. Well, during that time, my father stayed behind because he was a scouter for the Americans. So he would scout and bring intel back to the Americans. So one night, his platoon realized, oh, the communists are coming in. So they had to leave, in the middle of the night. And being that it was rush, his platoon, traveled in the middle of the night. My father stepped on a mine bomb and lost one of his legs. So he's actually very, it was like 1% that he survived because they had no medical. They had to carry him from Laos across the border into Thailand. So that was a miracle in a sense. And then I guess in 79, we got sponsored by a church in Cary, North Carolina. And, that was a blessing. So come to North Carolina. I've never been anywhere else, stayed in Carolinas. And then my parents got a job in Knightdale, which is, not far from Cary. And I grew up in Knightdale, North Carolina, and Raleigh, back and forth. And today, like you said, actor, but I've been doing martial arts since I was young. But it wasn't until after high school that I got serious. I was picked on all the way from grade school because we were poor. My English was bad. My hair wasn't as good as now, but but the martial arts really molded me and helped me out. One of my friends was bullied and he started taking martial arts. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe I need to get serious. My parents can afford it. So I would train with my friends that took martial arts. Because in Laos, Muay Thai is from Thailand, Muay Lao is from Laos. So martial arts to us is like almost like football to Americans, where it's, instead of throwing the ball, we're beating each other up.
Absolutely.
But and that's a culture thing. So it's not like we're picking fights or going out and doing stuff. We're actually learning how to fight. And the thing is, there's a fine line between fighting and training and self-defense. So people don't realize how much martial arts can help you. Ultimately it's designed for combat, right? But to me, I believe that, like, just like anybody else, once you practice it, you respect it. For instance, like children, they're gonna go out and horseplay and, on a playground and, scuffle and fight each other. But to me, the kids that practice martial arts are less likely to do that.
That's good. Absolutely.
Right, because they realize not only that, hey, they can hurt someone, but they can get in trouble from the teacher or the parents, because they've practiced martial arts. But at the other end of the spectrum, if they need to defend themselves, they should.
Yeah.
And,
absolutely.
right, and I don't see, and sometimes I think the school system is very negative towards that, where, hey, if you both fight, you both are suspended, even though, again, there's a fine line of if you go too beyond, where, hey, I've defended myself, I'm out of harm's way, this is what I had to do,
Yeah. And also depending on the parents too. I mean, great issue you brought up. Maybe they both get suspended or whatever. But as a parent, if my daughter's coming up and there was a situation in bullying where she stood up or stood up for someone else, I mean, I'm giving her props. I'm going, yeah, great job, because I was that guy born and raised in Philadelphia. And I remember, we also weren't brought up with a lot of money. And I remember there was a certain, we lived in a row home, very poor area. And there was this one big kid. I don't know what they called it in the 70s. We just got our butts kicked. It wasn't called bullying. I don't know what it was. A good whooping. But, my father, I mean, we really, we drove a half an hour up to the Northeast and we went for training. I'll never forget it, where this kid came up to me, and I was only a week or two into it. And it was just a basic karate course, self-defense. And I had kicked this guy in the guy's special place. And I remember running down the street and I was so stinking happy. And I've never had that was the only time, but it's huge, and I remember my father being proud of me, going, hey, great job for standing up, because what's on the other end? What happens if, someone doesn't stand up for themselves, especially when they're young?
Right.
It's going to affect them when they're younger. And you probably see that.
Oh, yes, it definitely does. I mean, confidence it's so important, because confidence relates to job, relationship, who you are, what you do, what you believe in, setting goals, achieving goals. It is confidence to me is the major word, because that's the root of everything. Because when you're confident and believe in yourself, you can achieve anything you want to do.
Absolutely. And even hearing, and I'm glad you brought that up, your confidence for what you've been through regarding, fleeing a country, coming over here, getting sponsored. Dude, I mean, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at your smile, great hair, and just, dude, you got the confidence. And I'm going, a lot of people going through that situation be like, oh, woe is me. Especially, some of us born in the United States. And I'm going to pick on some of the dads out there. We have it so stinking easy. Kenji's father, leg blown off. I mean, thank God today he's he made it through that. But and then we complain about stupid stuff. Oh, drives me great. Hey, great job to you and your father and your family to do what you had to do.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Speaking of fathers, I want to recognize him, because he not only he changed his life for me and my siblings. He smoked and he drank. He completely stopped for us.
Wow, love that.
Yeah, and he never took disability. Did you know that? He was too proud. Because he would have got he would have got disability pay from here, because he helped the Americans. But he was too, it wasn't until I got older till I realized how prideful he was. So yeah. He tried to work. Of course, we came to America with $5. Think about that. Not knowing the language, all I knew was hello. So
wow, okay.
So my struggle was, as a guy, I think it's harder, guys versus girls, because we're struggling from the language barrier and culture and all that kind of stuff. So, but I guess throughout diversity and, good upbringing, the respect my parents instilled in me, ethics and morals and things like that, I think that really played a big part of, making positive decisions as I grew up.
Absolutely. And just to kind of jump on that a little bit, the welfare mentality that goes on in society today, once you start handing out, all of a sudden, you cripple someone to achieve. I mean, look at your father not taking disability. I mean, dude, that's huge. And I'm thinking about, if you had a handful of people in the room, I would imagine he's the only one going, dude, I'm good, man. Because it's the easy way out. It's a simple way out. And I love that. And you learn that from your dad and making it happen. And then you are continuing that with your, what you're doing, being successful, learning the English language. You'll hear me talk. I grew up in the hood, so you'll hear words. You'll be like, what is Ray talking about? I'm still struggling with that, dude. But that is cool, man. Love it. So let's tap into the acting a little bit. because you
Okay.
dialed in everything else, and then maybe we'll get into some self-defense. But this has been
Sure.
great, man.
Well, acting, let's see. Um, I would say I got into acting about 6 years ago. A former student of mine graduated from UNC as a film major, and he asked me to help him with his graduation project. So, I did some choreography and did some stunt work, and was on the film, and they played it at the Carolina theaters in Durham. So I saw myself on the big screen, even though it was
Wow.
still, yeah, it was a college film, short film, but still everybody's like, "Oh, that was you," I got that bug. So, once you get that bug, you start to research and start to do more, and next thing you know, I write a script, Lao Warrior, produced, acted, directed a whole full-length feature. Took 3.5 years. We're still doing some editing. As of right now, we've decided to reshoot some things, and my co-director or co-producer, he's going to rewrite the script to a short film. See, the film industry is very political. There's a lot of ins and outs about it. So you want to get your film noticed into like film festivals, but the problem is full-length features. For instance, let's say you go to a film festival, they might have 5 open spots for full-length feature, and they have 100 spots for short films. So if you don't know the people, most likely you're not going to get chosen.
Absolutely. Yep.
Right. But for a short film, you have a very high chance, to get in. But throughout the time I've been, involved in it, I've connected and networked and gained friends. And now I know people that actually run their own film festivals. So I have a door to get in. And that's another thing, part of business is knowing people, networking. And
Absolutely.
I tell people that say, "Oh, it's who you know." I said, "Yeah, who you know is very good, but who you know opens the door, but what you know keeps that door open or closed."
Yeah, and that's big. Even building relationships. So, just to jump on that bandwagon, I think we became friends because we lived in North Carolina for almost 8 years. So we went Philly. We got married 11 years ago, went to North Carolina, Lewisburg. But I went to a Calvary Chapel, Cary, and actually taught roller hockey right down the street. Used to be Dream Sports. And I think from there, we might have had some mutual friends.
Right.
And we've never talked before. So this is the first time, but I've been following you, looking at you on Facebook. I'm like, dude, this guy's like awesome. But just having those connections, because I'm right in the middle of writing a book, whatever you decide to do, you can lay stuff on me and I will promote it just to be appreciative of you coming on the show, number one, and getting the word out. It only takes a couple guys like that, which is huge.
Right. Well, speaking of a book, I co-wrote a book. It's on Amazon. It's called Martial Arts for Everyone.
Awesome. Okay. I will put that link for everyone in the show notes. Okay. When did you release that? How long has it been out?
About 2 years, 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, look at you. I didn't even put author in your notes here, bud. Awesome. Love it. So, Game Changing Dads, I do have a book going to be released here. The goal is November 15th. I have a little bit of editing to do, finalizing, but man, that's been a 2-year process right now. It's been a little crazy.
Right.
So let's do this. I'm thinking about the video I watched the other day, the whole the gun disarming, and this takes me back to a story. Grew up in the hood of Philadelphia. My father had a supermarket business, and we're watching the news one night, and it said there's been a shooting at Right Way Supermarket. Well, that's my dad's market. My mom and I looking at it, go, what is going on? Well, he had just called and said he had a refrigeration problem. Well, he didn't tell us he got shot. He's not going to call the house. Hey, I just got shot. Don't look at, don't watch the TV. But he had told me, and I don't know if you know how this, but he was literally he got shot, and then 2 weeks later he was held up again. And he said, Ray, he's like, I was walking into the office. The guy had a gun, and I thought about you on this video. And he's walking in the office, and my dad said to himself, if I don't get this gun away from this guy, there's 4 or 5 people in the office. It could be tragic.
Right.
So literally, he's got 2 9mm from 2 weeks before, slugs in his shoulder, his arms up. He was able, and this is store hours. There's people in the store. He turned around, grabbed a gun, and grabbed the kid's gun. It was a younger guy, about 19, went to shoot him and jammed, and the guy ran out. So let's talk about
So see,
I don't suggest that, but go ahead, go for it.
that is awesome to hear that, because that's real. That's, because a lot of people don't realize, because they see on TV, they make their own analogy, like, oh, that's never gonna work. For prime example, they're like, my skeptics would say, no one's gonna rob you that close, they're gonna be far away. I'm like, you're wrong. You can go to YouTube, you can see guns pressing on people. You can see guns within, a good arm's reach. So my rule of thumb is the gun needs to be no farther than your elbow reach. Because if I put my hands up, that's about my elbow reach. You see, once your arm is extended, because if I go to grab and they pull back, I still have those 6 inches to be there. You see, but if the gun is beyond my elbow, if I go to reach, I might not get it.
Wow.
So, right. So if the gun is pressed against me right here, and if I turn, it's not like a knife. If I turn the barrel, if it does shoot, it's going to shoot there. And by that time, I've already grabbed the gun, the barrel.
Yep.
The gun is a tool that uses is an intimidation tool, just like a bully, right? So, I'm right here. I got a fork. We use this as a gun. If I would know, I would have brought my real gun or my practice gun on here. Next time maybe.
Okay.
But the thing is, the gun is a tool that is intimidation. So if I have this on you, they're not gonna think that you're gonna take this from you, because their mindset is, I have a gun, you ain't gonna do crap. It's just like, if I know martial arts as a bully, wants to fight me or whatnot, if they knew I at least can defend myself, most likely they're not going to pick on you.
Yep.
Right. So I don't recommend you doing anything, because gun disarming is a very crazy and high level scenario based combat training. It's not, I took self-defense for 2 weeks, I can defend myself. That's another thing that I hate about the industry. There's a lot of schools that advertise you're learning self-defense, but you're not. They're not really teaching you practical applications. They might be teaching you aerobics or fitness, and there's some good martial arts skill set, but it's not true combative self-defense, tested, ready to defend yourself on the street.
Wow. Okay. Well, okay. And I understand, the scenario with the gun. I totally get that, especially being trained. And before we started this call, we were talking about situational awareness. We were talking about Las Vegas a little bit and situations like that. I don't know if this is from training back in the day with karate, but, and I teach my kids this. For instance, a dog. When I'm running, I do a lot of running. If a dog's going to come up to me and he knows you're fearful of him, most likely he's going to pursue. Okay. Now, what I do, I'll stop and I'll pursue the dog. Okay. Now, this is just even when situation arise, let's say you're going to get robbed or something bad's going to happen. I'm not a big fan of showing fear. Maybe that's my hockey background. I'm not going to show fear, but I'll literally go up and I'm going to confront you before you confront me, to really throw my maybe attacker or whoever off a little bit. So instead of showing fear, because people can read that,
Yes.
And do you agree with me on that?
Well, there's two sides to that.
Okay.
You can also play chess. Give them something to believe that you are, hey man, don't hurt me, but it's that quick.
Mm, absolutely. And I get that too. That's why
You know,
you're the professional and I'm not.
it just every scenario. People ask me, what about this? I said, it depends. The answer would be always, it depends on the situation, scenario, the person, the surroundings. There's no right or perfect answer. So
So
if you're well-rounded and you're prepared, then you have a better chance to be able to execute what you've learned.
awesome. Awesome. So let's just talk about, most of us have kids on the show. We're walking into a situation and we talked about this earlier too, where a lot of people aren't looking around. So you go in and we're talking about the restaurant and a purse,
Yes.
so when you're going in as a professional and you don't have to have a black belt or you don't have to have a degree to be situational aware
Aware.
of
Yes.
things. But go for it.
Right.
I mean, what from
Okay.
a professional, what are you looking for? You go to a park with the kids, you're, going into a place, dark alley. Number one, don't put yourself in that situation, but go for it.
Correct. Right. I guess number one is having common sense and
Mm,
utilizing those common sense. I'm sorry, some people don't have it, some people do, but you can also learn it. So I guess let's say tunnel vision. Your your eyes are like this. When I first step into a restaurant, since I was there yesterday, it's always my vision is this big, covers the whole place. So I already kind of like scan the place real quick. Where's my exit? Where's the back? Who's in the restaurant? And that's it. And then I just, and then also I always, if I'm sitting near the door, I'm always aware who's coming in
mm, that's
because,
good.
right, because you got to. And sometimes as a male, I always like to sit facing the door so I can see that. Because
Wow.
if your back is here, you got gunmen coming through. Those couple seconds could be critical. The thing is, I'm not like, I guess because my training is like, I'm not worried, but it's just kind of like an instinct. So I just do it. And so there's no, um, I don't walk around like I'm scanning everything or I'm fearful or I'm worried. It's just, hey, it just becomes a natural thing.
Well, it's almost like, being an entrepreneur, business owner, actor, and everything you do. You want to be open-minded to opportunities. So what I'd like to hear, and you're saying it, you're not fearful, but you want to be prepared. I love being prepared because the last thing I want to do is show up somewhere and not be prepared. What great advice. I mean, come on, face the door. Duh. I, I didn't even think about that. I mean, what a great tip there. And you said something earlier where, common sense, I call it street smarts, where I grew up in a pretty nasty neighborhood and I knew certain times of the day you don't go in at particular places and you don't put yourself there. But, you know, that what if scenario, we're not fearful, but yeah, I want to know what's going on. I want to evaluate, we get to the rink, we get to a park, I'm looking around. How important it is to teach that to our kids.
Yeah, and speaking of that, it's actually better to have some other people that are quote unquote professional to teach your kids because as human nature, we may tell our kids the same thing. Like I've had parents say, "Master Kosi, my kids listen to everything you say, and I tell them the same thing, but they don't listen to me." And it's sometimes we have that barrier between parents and kids, and they're ready to learn or hear from someone else.
What a great nugget. Okay, so I learned this years ago before I even had kids. I trained with a good friend of mine, Peter Dale. He runs Team USA clinics. And literally, probably about 15 years ago, I forget where we were doing his clinic. And he said, Ray, do me a favor. And this guy is dialed in, one of the best roller hockey players, trainers, been training for over 25 years. He said, do me a favor, go over to my kids and show them A, B, or C. I forget what it was. And I'm like, dude, like, you're the man. They only listen a little bit to me, but when it comes to an outside source, you just said it. What great
Exactly.
advice. They will listen like crazy. So I do that with my kids too. So I'll have someone new on the rink, maybe it's a parent that doesn't even know roller hockey. I'll say, "Hey Mike, do me a favor. Go over and tell my daughter she needs to keep her head up." Because coming from me, and you just said it, parents, don't miss that. That is huge. If you're a parent, if your kids aren't getting it, send them to a professional or someone that knows what they're talking about. And I get it as a parent. We want our kids to know no. We want guys like yourself to be training, to be teaching, which is awesome. Love that, dude. Love that. Well, let's do let's see here. Let me jump out of this. So we're coming kind of to the end of our show. I got a couple really cool questions. All
Okay.
right. So it's called rapid fire. Actually, it's a hockey term where we line like all the pucks up at the top of the blue line. We just shoot on you. So
Uh-huh.
as a martial artist, rapid fire may be something totally different. But I'll fire some questions at you. Anything you're not sure about, you can say pass. And
Okay.
then we'll just kind of move on. And we'll end up on where people can find you and some advice too. So for my first question, favorite book?
Of course, martial arts for everyone.
I knew it. Awesome. And who's the author, by the way?
David Nelson.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. And you co-wrote that, correct? Is
Yes,
that
sir.
what you said earlier?
I
Awesome.
wrote the mixed martial arts self-defense part.
Okay. Cool. Cool. How about a favorite quote?
Um, you cannot defend what you do not know, from me.
All right. The Lao Warrior, right from the tongue. Awesome. Love that. How about, I'm going to mix this up. I know I didn't send you this question, but favorite business moment?
Um, Realizing that I changed a lot of my students' lives by
Mm.
setting them up to be successful and being their role model for life.
Okay. Awesome. And I'm going to throw a curveball at you on this one because I follow you on Facebook. Favorite relationship moment? Anyone recently come into your life that you're kind of excited about?
Would be my soulmate.
Yes.
Um, my soulmate, and I didn't know about that word until I met her. Her name's Dee Dee, and we've that might be another topic about relationship. I would love to come back and talk about that.
I was actually going to invite you back already. So yeah, we can do that at a later date. That would be awesome.
Because
Absolutely.
as a father and as a future husband, I think that's another important thing to show our kids, the love that we have for each other, because then that will trickle down to our own kids. For
Mm.
boys, how do they treat women? For women, this is how a man should treat you.
Amen. What a great example. Absolutely. Love that. How about this one? Favorite, what was I thinking moment? This could be like a kind of crazy.
Yeah, the day that I decided to go in a cage and fight in a cage.
You want to tell us about that a little bit? Now, was that the MMA
Yes,
or?
mixed martial arts. I did some of that. I did it when the cage fighting kind of first started, and when I first started martial arts, I was more of a stand-up striker. So my grappling, I didn't know much grappling. I did some wrestling, but if you don't know any submissions, you can't defend it. Remember what I said? You
Mm,
can't defend what you don't know. So,
absolutely.
and as a sport, you're still limited. Because like you're talking about kicking someone in a groin. If I'm on the street, if I had to poke someone's eye or you know hit someone in the privates, it's no question, because street defense, there's no rules.
That's right.
But I did learn, the loss I had in the ring or in the cage taught me that, hey, I need to be more prepared, I need to be more well-rounded, and it just helped me to become a better martial artist.
Mm, awesome. Well, how about this one? One piece of awesome game-changing advice that you can share with our listeners today. And don't get me wrong, dude, there's been a bunch of them.
I think we talked about self-defense. This is the topic. I think in today's time that parents, especially dads, because we're kind of like, there's a reason why there's a dad and there's a mom. The mom's soft, the dad is hard. I think children need to learn some type of self-defense.
Absolutely.
And that way, hey, they're off to college, kind of a peace of mind for the parents. They can at least, the lower end of the spectrum, they're more aware of their surroundings and who they are. If they had to defend themselves, then
but to have that arsenal, if they ever need it, is huge.
Exactly.
Love it.
Preparation, so.
Yep, absolutely. So final, not question, but where can people find you?
On Facebook, Kenji Saykosy. I just started a new page. It's a Royal Tiger MMA, and that's going to be a new website pretty soon, because I just moved up to Maryland, and next year we're planning to open my new MMA gym here. My business partner would be my soulmate. It's like perfect match.
Awesome. Well, hey, let's end on that. And Kenji, I'd love to have you back at a future show. We greatly appreciate you being here, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.